Alright guys, so I figured some of you might find this interesting. If you guys are looking for motor mounts for a Thunderbird, in my case a 429 car, but I've later found that the Mustang Boss 429 also has these mounts, which I think has driven up the price of this particular part a lot. I couldn't find the driver's side anywhere online for less than $200 or so, some even up to $300 for this, when the passenger side from AutoZone is $18 and the passenger side from westar is somewhere around, well, it cost me $36 with shipping from Canada, but different story, I'll get to that. So I was able to find this one on eBay for $109. It seems to be the last, the last production of this mount anywhere that I could find. If you find new old stock that isn't off of a car from the 70s, this was the latest date that I saw, 1999. So this is a new old stock from 1999. Look at I'm gonna try and give you guys a good overview of the quality of this. This is pretty hefty, and for whatever reason the driver's side is unobtainium. That's the side of the engine that lifts in my car. That's how I know I had bad motor mounts, and both are 50 some odd years old. So hey, definitely time to replace these. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there trying to do the same thing. So maybe this will help. Guys, these two companies, I don't think they've even ever made the driver's side. I just haven't seen them out there. I only see new old stock, and I looked everywhere on the internet that I could possibly look. So you have to find one of these off of eBay. I ended up with this by ordering a driver's side and ending up with, of course, a 23, which is the passenger side. So I got sent the wrong part, and this was $34, and I thought, I'm probably not going to be getting this. I figured it was probably a mistake just out of the sheer cost. But so this is a passenger side from AutoZone. And now that I have both, I can decide, what's going to be the better one to use. And so look at some of these details on the westar. I want you to recognize the shape of these. It's all symmetrical. And if you look at the duralast, this one here isn't as deep, and it doesn't even seem to be quite centered. If you look at the Ford part, you're going to see the same thing. I'll try and get these in the same shot for you. So that alone tells me the duralast is more similar to the Ford part. Now, interestingly enough, the Ford part has a lot of spillover on the back of the rubber. You can see how the rubber's spilling, kind of wrapping around, and even here. And the duralast part does have some of that going on too. The westar part does not. It doesn't have any of that spillover, so this is definitely not original tooling. This is a recreation. This duralast part might be the Ford tooling. I'm just not sure. It's not exact. You see the middle, there's no little stub there that this is, where you can see where it was extruded from. So however that is, I can tell you that unfortunately this still is new old stock, and this rubber, you can see some balling up there. It tells me it has started to dry out. And the duralast part is almost like painted over, and they feel fairly similar. Maybe the duralast is a little bit softer. The Ford part is definitely the heaviest. then followed maybe by the westar, and then this. So, you know, I was going to go off of sheer weight, but I just like how the rubber around this in this shape is more accurate to the factory. So, you know, in this case, I'm going to go with the Duralast for the passenger side. And, you know, try and just get you guys some shots of how similar they are. Obviously, the Ford part has all this on it, and you don't get that in the Duralast part. I can tell you with the Duralast part, it's almost like they painted over the rubber, almost like they painted the whole thing. And quite honestly, maybe that will help a little bit. It'll add an extra of a barrier to the rubber, so that this rubber isn't just drying out in a box. I would assume that paint layer is going to add, you know, some sort of moisture retention, and maybe that's just for packaging. They know that, and this might be, you know, made today and sold 20 years from now as well. But so there you have it, guys. Your motor mounts for a, you know, Mustang Boss 429 or a 1970 Ford Thunderbird, you know, all those glamour birds. I think, you know, obviously the Continental Mark III shares the same platform as the Thunderbird, and maybe the Galaxy as well. But for the most part, I see people looking for these for the Mustang Boss. And my guess is this part is so rare because, you know, people want to do that 429 conversion in their Mustang, and you need it, right? If you're gonna, unless you're gonna do solid mounts or something like that, but if you're gonna do it legit, you're gonna want to have these nice insulators. So there you have it, guys.